what if Europe rose in, what if Asia rose instead of Europe? Compared to our what if Europe rose instead of Europe, what if Asia became the pillar of civilization, unlike Europe as well? Here. The first thing is Asgarcia is going to invade Carissa. As Asgarcia can't really expand more in Europe, as it'll take on the Star Alliance, it could also take on Kaita and Alp, but they're not very powerful countries, as well. Asgarcia is basically trying to form its own version of the Roman Empire. The invasion of Carissa begins, as well. However, this is going to backfire largely on Asgarcia, as it invades the capital relatively easily. This will cause one country to declare war on Asgarcia, Monama. Monaman troops throughout the southern Italian peninsula will start to invade this country right here as well. The southern portion of the country will be invaded as well. Yeah. Asgarcia has ruled Italy for a while, and they have basically renamed all the areas to Asgarcian rule. So yeah. Yeah. Asgarcia will be invading here, and Asgarcia is just wow. Monamo says that they don't need any of the alliance because this alliance is basically to prevent anyone from invading Africa, and it's still expanding. So Monama, Nukai, and Anta are the only Nukai and Anta also declare war on Asgarcia as well. Here, Asgarcia will pull troops from Carissa, which will allow Carissa to really be able to rebound in the war. Yeah. Yeah, they will push back all troops here and basically focus on taking back Italy, which they start doing, as Asgarcia is not as powerful as Monama is, but they do push back the troops and army a little bit as well here, all the way to this point as well. Yeah, however, Monama is only using its 100,000 troops stationed here. They sent a reinforcement of around another 100k troops, compared to Asgarcia's 355k troops here, and around 255k troops here. This will also include 50,000 troops from Carissa, 30,000 from Anta, and around 200,000 from Nukai as well. This will cause Asgarcia to actually be pushed back as well. The Asgarcia dictator basically says, why are we being beat by these, people here that are supposed to be inferior to our country, blah, 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 as well here. Hundreds of thousands of troops are sent from New Asgarcia as well to supply as well here. But the problem is, Asgarcia doesn't really have any allies. They really don't as well. Okay. Yeah. The New Asgarcian troops basically now start to push back against Monaman troops as well here. But however, Asgarcia does have a call for help, and one very powerful alliance decided to send them help. Nilda, who hates this alliance so much, along with Pentanovan, these countries kind of hate this alliance so much, the African alliance, especially Nilda, because they wanted to expand back into Egypt, basically. They will send supplies to Asgarcia as well. Yeah. Monama captures the supply, takes down the supplies, and the Circle Alliance continues to send troops this way to send supplies to Asgarcia as well. Yeah. And even volunteer troops from Nilda volunteer to join Asgarcia as well. This causes this massive push here to get them out of Italy itself. Asgarcia will go on the offensive and take out southern Italy, which is something the Monaman troops were not expecting, as this is actually one of the most valuable provinces as well, because Monama's population density is like this here. There's around 40 to 50 here. It's basically like this here. Basically this is around 90% of Monama's population lives. Most people do not live in the central part of the country, and it is actually kind of a miracle that Monama has been able to hold on to these areas down here as well here. However, Monama decided to bring in the whole alliance. So Khan, Silver, Vami, Rina, Baihu, Issei, and these three countries over here joined the war. Vyami and Issei basically do a invasion of New Asgarcia to free this part of Africa from Asgarcian rule as well. Yeah, Issei will also invade New Asgarcia as well, causing the battles to basically to occupy this land very easily. Hundreds of thousands of African troops. However, Asgarcia was able to take this area here. It's mostly just a naval battle. It's Asgarcia, surprisingly has naval superiority over Monama, as Monama's navy is not really the most powerful here. However, Asgarcia's dictator comes to an agreement with Monama as well here. We will sacrifice the African land if we get out of Europe. Monama agrees to this deal as well here, and Asgarcia will take both of the southern Italian peninsula. However, New Asgarcia will be a free country as well here. This will be a new country, as Asgarcian influence has basically changed this country 100% here, and basically they're a new country now, so they'll use a new name. Vertria is now a new country, as that's the name Asgarcians used for the capital city, which will be here. So yes, Asgarcia will give this area independence, and basically you have to stay out of Africa as well here. This country will also join this African Alliance Defense Pact right here. To basically protect it from Asgarcian control. Asgarcia is kind of like, wow, we did get a decent chunk of land, but we still lost a very big portion of land. So Asgarcia will go work elsewhere for a colony as well. Okay? And what better to work than the Panama Canal, which I don't think really has any Asgarcian control or influence, as it was mostly colonized by Aza. However, they will invade Isturianus. Asgarcian troops will on May 30th, 2025, will invade Isturianus in a surprising move as well. This will cause Isturianus to become a Asgarcian colony as well. The native people here are not a big fan of this, obviously, because most of North America's cultures are very unique as well, and are not based off of Europe or Asia, and are kind of a blend of both. However, Asgarcia is going to force their own culture, language, religion on them, and this will cause these countries around them to basically panic as well. However, the next big event will be in North America. This will be the union of two countries. So Teresa and Nebraska have basically been separate for such a long time. However, both countries are very similar, and they vote on to unite as one country. This will cause this country to become a bit bigger, as basically both countries will choose to unite as well. People voted for it, obviously, and they choose to be like that. However, tension will be here between Michigan and Guyana. Guyana, basically, these countries have been basically added for a while, However, a troop has been sought on the southern border of Guyana. Also, there has been a massive concern of illegal immigration from Guyana as well to Michigan, which Michigan's new president is basically like Trump, and they have been deporting tons and tons of people back to Guyana, which will spark a new war. Guyanese troops will do a massive invasion of Michigan as well to basically invade the country as well they will invade New York as well as the Northeast, and they'll also start to invade core Michigan territory as well But however, the early success is seen as an early success as well New York was much easier to invade because it's so much closer. However, Michigan troops have basically been moving in as well to basically push these guys back. Because basically, it's a much more powerful country than Guyane as well here, and basically the whole world, always does not like Michigan's leader because they're kind of a, you know, weird person. Okay, as well, and however, Michigan does a massive draft of the population, which is not a very popular move, but they see that the country is being invaded, so they start to do an invasion of Guyane as well, and they invade and take the capital as well here. And they do an invasion of the most populous region, which is Pennsylvania slash the DC area. Basically, most of this area is kind of worthless land as well here. So they have invaded Guyane as well here, and the peace treaty will be as follows here. They'll take these provinces right here. They'll take these foul northern provinces. Basically the peace treaty is to take these foul northern provinces to connect the land easier. Yeah. And Guyane will basically have the borders will be basically garbage straight line borders as well. Guyane will be able to keep most of its land as well, most of its core land intact as well, but they will be but basically all immigration from Guyane to Michigan will be banned for 20 years basically as well. Guyane has basically been destroyed as well. So North America has had a lot of changes so far. South America, well, nothing ever happens in South America. So, Africa as well, the leader of this area finally died. It's the last leader of the former Sifa dynasty. Basically, they, tried to keep Sifi's culture alive here in Eastern Africa. However, immigration from mostly more African countries as well here start to take a toll on the country, and the country collapses as well. The country basically collapses as well here. And basically, this is, like the emperor died, basically, and basically, this country no longer exists as well. This country basically used to be in China, but now they no longer exist as well here. Several new countries will form as well. 2 new countries are formed, and the neighboring countries will gain some land. So Gao will gain some land. Korali will gain some land here. Ukai will gain some land here, separating this area here. And Zonia will gain some land here. However, there will be 4 new countries in Africa. Yes, 4 new countries. So first is this country right here. Morose. This country will be, capital will be right here, as it's the only kind of major city here. This dark brown country will exist here. There's the northern province of Timpa. Here. Their capital will be right here. This land will be an independent country right here. Eritrea will be a country right here, or Eritrea. And this, it's all pink. Okay, this country will be pink. and Forca will be a major country right here, and the capital will be on this lake here. So that's the division of Sifa, a former world power that had colonies over the world, and now the last legacy has kind of been erased as well. Also, another war will begin, and that's between Sela and Ikaka. Ikaka will basically accidentally kill someone at the border. It also caused Siwa to basically have a massive invasion of this small country right here. The rest of the populated country right here, and they basically surround this country right here, and basically this country is defeated very quickly as well. Basically this country, the full annexation of the country will exist as well here. And the Kaka will be no longer existing. They will be absorbed into Siwa as well here, which will cause Bowie to kind of be concerned as well here. However, a big unitation will begin. North Bisa's leader dies. However, there's no one to really replace him. North Bisa has kind of been like how North Korea still is able to somehow function as well here. But the leader dies, and the new leader chooses to basically, let's move on from our communist past and unite into one country. And that's basically what they do as well. Bisa will become one country once again. There used to be one country as well here, but however, the socialism and communism is kind of strange. So yeah. However, the new leader of Masao wants to bring back a country, even though they are Taiwanese as well. They want to bring back the Sifi's original government. So basically, they change the name as well. However, not everyone is fond of the name as well. The Taiwanese government and this island want to remain Masao. So basically, there is a new Cold War between Sifa and Masao of who is the legitimate government as well. So Sifa and Masao will go their separate ways, and Sifa's capital will be here, and Masao's capital will be in Taiwan still, and they'll be existing in these two areas as well here. Basically, there'll be a war, though its country will be recognized first in the United Nations. So yeah. The Cold War between Osai and the X-Alliance will continue as well. The X-Alliance will continue to expand their members as well here. A new country will join the X-Alliance as well here, and that is Bennu. They joined the X-Alliance along with Tavo, our threat of these countries right here. The X-Alliance continues to expand, and they include 2 new members as well. Osai is not very happy about this as well here, along with Moravia, as they do not like the idea of the X-Alliance expanding furthermore as well here. However, the Circle Alliance is still much more powerful than the X-Alliance because they have 3 great big powers, and the X-Alliance is just a bunch of small nations that are just banding together to basically try to oppose this expansion as well here. Tavo and Bennu, actually Bennu doesn't join. Bennu considers join, but they do not as well because they want to not be a part of this conflict. However, Tavo and Sisa both join the X-Alliance as well, as it extends throughout Eastern Europe as well. The Circle Alliance doesn't really expand, except for does not really expand as well here, but yeah. The Cold War between the X and the Circle Alliance continues to grow and get worse over time. And that's about this video here. Goodbye.